All right, so two leaders today held Mahapanchayats in support of farmers in two states. Sachin Pilot, former Deputy Chief Minister of Rajasthan and Congress leader, held it in Dausa. He's joining us live. The other leader was Jayant Chaudhary of the RLD, who held it at Shamli. Massive groundswell in both places. Sachin Pilot is with us. Sachin, before we talk about and get into your Mahapanchayat, I want to ask you a response, Sachin Pilot, on what the Agriculture Minister has charged you of. Khoon se kheti, for bloodlust, instigating the farmers to reap a harvest of blood.
I think it's most unfortunate that the Agriculture Minister today used the kind of words that were used. And I'm not surprised today that the Parliament has expunged those words. It does not, I think, it doesn't become of a elected government to treat its farming community in such a fashion. And the allegations against I know, frankly speaking, I don't mind him alleging on Congress party. You can take out your anger, you can call us names, but for heaven's sakes, listen to the people who are your farmers, who feed our bellies, who are sitting on the borders of Delhi for 2 months. And the kind of language used today will tell you why 11 rounds of discussions have failed. Because I'm sure this is the same attitude that he must have shown to the farming community who went to talk to him. 11 rounds of discussions and nothing came out of it. I'm not surprised why, because this is the attitude, sense of arrogance, the sense of finger pointing, I think totally unbecoming of an elected government.
Mr. Pilot, today we saw a groundswell of sorts at Dausa, Mahapanchayat called, where there was support which echoed and boomed for farmers. My question, Mr. Pilot, is one can understand Punjab farmers, one can understand Haryana farmers because they benefit a lot where MSP is concerned, and that's one of the sticking points of this agitation. Where does it leave the Rajasthan farmers?
I think it's wrong for you to make that distinction because MSP, what it does, it gives you a market benchmark for the farmers to get their price and their due. They may not even sell at MSP, but there is a benchmark, and which I think is something that all farmers are looking for. So it's not about Punjab, Haryana, UP or Rajasthan. The fact that all the Mahapanchayat, the people came together to give their support to the farming movement. Now, for 2 months, my party and I and all our leaders in all parts of our country have been supporting it's not a political movement, it's a farmers movement. But as a farmer, as someone who belongs to the Congress party, whether it's Mrs. Sonia Gandhi or Rahul Gandhi, we've all actually supported the movement led by the farmers. Now, to start opposing and start calling the opposition names, I think will not find any solution. The government must understand the sentiments behind what the farmers are facing. They are dying on the borders of Delhi. The kinds of barricading and nails that are dug in the streets, the kind of sentimental sort of backlash that the government is facing, they've got to come to terms with the reality. And I think no government becomes any smaller if they roll back these laws and sit with the farmers, sit with the state governments, and then make a new law. What is wrong in that? That's all the farmers are asking. And that's all today in the Mahapanchayat we all resolved to, in a Gandhian way, in a peaceful way. I think on Republic Day, whatever happened was disgraceful, and anyone who did that should be held responsible and full action should be taken. But you cannot start intimidating the farmers because of that one incident. The farmers for 2.5 months have sat patiently in the bitter cold, and I think it's a great service to the nation that the farmers who are feeding our families are sitting on the borders of Delhi with full patience, and not one single untoward incident happened for the last 2.5 months. I think this is the sentiment of the farming community and the farmers, and all of us, not just Congress, but all opposition parties are united in saying that the government must really now understand and pull back from these 3 farming laws.
Mr. Pilot, first it was said that this was a protest by farmers of Punjab. Then it said, okay, there's only a certain set of farmers from Haryana that have joined in. And then it was said that, okay, there are a bit of Western UP farmers that are also coming in, politically motivated. Will the Rajasthan farmers who today pledge support with you are also going to come on ground? Are we going to see them on the Delhi borders now?
You see, the farmers have no community, they have no caste, and there are no states. We grow makkah and gehu and kapas in Rajasthan and in UP and in Punjab. So I think it's wrong to differentiate. This movement is a farmers' movement. It happened 2.5 months ago. And because of the attitude, the kind of intimidation that was unleashed upon the farmers, that I think struck a very negative chord amongst not just farmers, but across the country. So today all we're saying is that we are supporting the movement led by the farmers. It's not about one state or one section or one community. It's all of us together wanting the government to be benevolent, to understand that this is something that is not in the benefit long term for the farmers, and then pull back and make a new law. But they must involve stakeholders. You see, you can't, kiske liye kya bhala hai? The farmers know better. You think farmers are not aware of what's good for them? If they felt it was good, they would be cheering in the streets. No, they'll be clapping and welcoming this move. is because farmers feel that their futures are endangered. That is why they're now stuck for 72 days sitting on the streets of Delhi, on the borders, and waiting for the government to respond and withdraw these 3 farm laws.
Mr. Pilot, the government says that this is a larger conspiracy at play, an international plot as well, and the Congress is feeding off it. You're instigating farmers. If it wasn't for your party, this protest would have ended a while ago.
No, that's absolutely wrong. This protest was a farmers' protest, not just the Congress party, but the entire opposition, I think, understood the sentiments of the farmers. But the government of India, sadly, is unwilling and is incapable of understanding what the farmers feel. There is no communication, there is no talking, there is no understanding, because किसान का दर्द कौन समझता है? जो सरकार में बैठी, they must understand the sentiments and the hurt that the farmers are feeling today. To blame the Congress party, I think, is really looking for excuses. Nobody asked them to make this law. By pointing fingers at the Congress, I don't think they're finding a solution. We stand behind the farmers and what they demand. The government of the day must come forward, accept that these farm bills are not in the interest of the farmers, withdraw them, renegotiate with the farmers, and make a new law. So by blaming the Congress party, I think they're achieving nothing. We are just doing what we feel is right. It's my right. It's my duty. And I think every right-thinking Indian wants the farmers to prosper and be happy. This is not the way. That's I think, the sentiment across farming communities and across the political spectrum.
Mr. Pilot, you did criticize on what happened on 26 January. You did say those involved in the anarchy which took place should be held responsible. On the other hand, there's enough criticism coming in from one of your general secretaries, Priyanka Gandhi Vadra, who went to meet one of those farmers who indulged in arson, but unfortunately did pass away during the violence.
Now, what happened on Republic Day? Anybody who who casts a shadow on the integrity and the good name of our national flag and our country, certainly we can't let that go on. We must condemn it, and the government and the rule of law should be applicable to anybody who violates the laws of the land. And really, that sort of behavior. But how did it happen? Who were people responsible for protecting the Red Fort? Who were the ones who got up there? What are the links of the individuals who committed that crime? In my view, it's a crime because national flag is dear to all of us. But you can't hide behind that incident and then put cases against the farmers. You try and cut off the electricity, their water, the sanitation, the internet. I mean, in a democracy, people are protesting peacefully. But the kind of brute force that is being unleashed on the farmers is something that across India there's a overwhelming support for farmers who are facing the brute force of the government of the day. So I think we have to distinguish between what happened on Republic Day. Of course, we must all condemn it. At the same time, you can't paint all farmers of India as separatists or anarchists or Naxalites. That's something that I don't agree with.
But Mr. Pilot, the fact was this was your General Secretary, Priyanka Gandhi Vadra, visiting the house of one of the farmers who was in this melee, who was, where the arson was, he was where the anarchy was taking place. His tractor was seen, going turtle. So would you agree it was right to go and pledge support to the family?
A gentleman had an accident on a tractor. How are you now, after him passing away, calling him all sorts of things without any proof? Priyanka Gandhi went to condole the family of a young man who passed away. He was there protesting against the farm laws. He was riding a tractor and he met with an accident. How can you, it's amazing how someone who's passed over, without any proof, you're calling him a part of the anarchy that took place in parts of Red Fort. That's not fair. Priyanka Gandhi went there to give the condolence to the family who lost a young son. There's nothing wrong in that. But without proof to say that he was involved in some sort of,
The police is saying that, sir.
They have no proof. If there's proof, then they must investigate. But a person has passed away. There's no harm in giving sympathy to a family whose 25-year-old son has just died.
Fair enough. My final question, Mr. Pilot, before I let you go, those visuals today in Dausa, massive show of strength. Many would say this is the show of strength of the former Deputy Chief Minister, Sachin Pilot.
Not at all. I think the Mahapanchayat was called by the people of Dausa. They invited me to address them, which I did because I've been an MP from Dausa. And there are many other places that people are calling, not just myself, but all political leaders from all opposition parties are going, addressing the farmers. Because in times of need is when you need to be with your people. If they're feeling distressed and they want your support, we must reach out to them. And that's the job of every political worker. And I think the Congress party is doing a commendable job standing with the farmers. And we will continue to do that till the government withdraws.
Mr. Pilot, are we going to see a larger opposition unity? Because what you did today in Dausa, Jayant Chaudhary of the RLD did it in Shamli as well.
Well, I think on the farmers issue, more than 24 parties have already come together and have told the government that, we may be, different political parties. But on this issue, Mrs. Gandhi had called a meeting and I think 24 political parties have come together on this one particular issue. It's not a small feat to have so many political parties aiming at and asking the government to do the same thing. So opposition parties are already strongly behind the farmers' cause, and we see no reason why the government should not accept the fact that these laws are not in the interest of the farmers and withdraw them. I think the government doesn't become any smaller by withdrawing bills which the farmers themselves are saying is not in their interest.
All right, appreciate you joining us, sir. Thank you, Mr. Pilot. We're going to keep tracking the developments there. There was one Maha Panchayat which was called today in Dausa. One was called in Shamli as well by RLD leader Jayant Chaudhary. Thank you there, which prompts me to go to our questions of this evening that we're going to be posing in our debate. Hi everyone, Preeti Chaudhary here. Hope you like this video. For latest news and analysis, like and subscribe to the India Today YouTube channel. And don't forget to press the bell icon to stay updated. Thank you for watching.